Hey guys, welcome to the shop. So today we're going to be working on a custom light fixture, a custom lamp, or a custom hanging light, whatever you guys want to call it. This is a commissioned piece for me. I've spent a bunch of time with a customer and we've kind of designed up this really nice piece. A piece that can really scream rustic, Adirondack, and yet be very tasteful and have a lot of character and just be an all-around really beautiful piece, a real conversation piece to have in their camp. Now this light's going to hang over a beautiful walnut bar, and so I've chosen the materials that we're going to use very carefully because there's a lot of different wood types in the camp and a new floor that's going to be going in, but I want to focus around that beautiful walnut bar. And so I decided to create this lamp with walnut, with a beautiful burl veneer and some cherry burl. Now the plan is to trim the light fixture out, we'll call it a lampshade out, with walnut. We're going to span the gaps that are there with the veneer, and then we're going to carve up some really beautiful trout out of this cherry burl and attach them to the sides. So there's going to be a lot of different things going on, and the plan is to kind of just kick this thing in high speed, put on some cool tunes, and I'm just going to get to work because really I got a lot of work to do here, and I honestly want to be able to share it with all of you guys and create a really cool video for the customers. So we're going to cue the high speed and I'm going to get going.
Well guys, as you can see, I am drawing up, mapping out the design, the panels. We're just, measuring it up. And basically what I'm doing is making like templates. So when I cut the walnut, I can lay it on here and see if they match. I want to make sure everything is the same. Yes, you can measure and do all these angles and try to get it all to fit, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't have precision machinery and chop saw and table saw, and so things are always off just a click, which really can mess up your whole day. So by drawing on and using it like a template, it really helps. Now, I believe most of the wood was rough cut to begin with, so I had to cut it down to size. I ran these boards through the planer, which isn't on video, and then through the edge joiner here just to, clean them up, make sure I had good square edges to start with. So now we're going to go through, measure everything up, and get ready to start making some real cuts on the table saw. I'll tell you, there was a lot of cutting and a lot of angles. I can't even tell you what the angles are because it was kind of just doing it by eye, match it up, draw some lines, cut it, make it work until it fit, and then cut them all the same sort of deal. Really don't draw up blueprints ahead of time other than a rough sketch, and I really just don't keep track of that stuff because each one I do is always a little bit different size, different shape, and yeah, it's just the way I do it. That way there, it keeps, in my mind, it keeps every piece custom, unique, and different because I truly do not want to be making cookie cutter items. When it comes to my high-end pieces, I want to be making one-off. Yeah, it could save me time, I know, by already having things drawn up and numbers written down and angles saved, and it could, but it just, I don't know, it feels like it's cheating. I would rather have to mess around with it each time and make it a custom piece and a custom fit for everyone that I make. As you guys can see right here, I'm actually making a little piece to help with the angle cuts out of black walnut, the blue tape, and some super glue. That's what I'm using here. So every corner I can measure and use that little template to, cut the same angle on each corner. Using this little handsaw to cut every little angle piece. So this cuts nice fine lines in the walnuts. There's not a lot of tear away, nothing tear out, I should say, or cracking or anything like that. Sometimes you can get that from the chop saw, even with a fine tooth blade, cutting such thin pieces because they're only about 1/4 inch thick. And as you can see, they're about 2 inches wide roughly. Painting on some Type Bond 2. That's the glue I use when I'm doing woodworking. Best stuff. Works great, strong, never have an issue with things coming apart. Love using it. Not sponsored by it. Be cool if they did, but Not sponsored or anything, it's just what I use. This project took many hours. I want to say just for the lampshade, not including the fish you'll see me carving here in a little bit that are attached, but just for the lampshade build, I think I had 22 or 25 hours just in creating that, with cutting angles and finishing, or no, maybe it was 25 hours all said and done, including the fish. Maybe that's what it was, 25 hours in the overall piece, creating it. Also near the end, you guys will see where the light gets hung. The bar top I also refinished and all that, so be sure to stick around. And if you guys are still here, give the video a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the project, once you see it complete and installed. Tell me what you think about it. Let me know. And if you haven't, hit subscribe. Hit all and hit that bell so you guys are notified to any and all future videos. So right here, we glued up those edges and putting them together. And what I'm using is masking tape to hold it together while it dries. Now, it might seem funny, but if applied properly, the masking tape actually helps hold the seams and joints together really, really secure, and I don't have to use a bunch of clamps. You guys can see there, we got the bigger side pieces kind of taped up, and I have found this to be the absolute best way to do it. Now, you might have seen me use a brush to apply the glue instead of my finger. It's because I don't want glue all over my hands while I'm handling the walnut and then putting glue all over everything I touch. That's just more cleanup you got to do and more of a mess. Now, because these weren't perfect, going through, figuring out my angles and just trimming each thing to kind of, even though they're not 90-degree squares, but we're squaring up our edges the best that I can so that when everything is assembled, both ends and all the sides, match. It's actually really difficult because between the miters and all these different angles, technical stuff, there's just a lot of figuring to do and a lot of cuts to make, and because everything's angled. What a job. That's probably the most tedious thing, was getting everything to sit like it is right here and match up. Now, the inside corners aren't perfect. I left them so they had gaps, and what I do is I glue in some triangle wedge cut style pieces, help secure those corners and straighten them up. So this is the top, just cutting some angles on the ends and the sides so it sort of matches the angle of the overall light fixture. This is burled veneer. Honestly, it looks like maple, but I can't remember what it was. I had ordered it a long time ago. Customer loved it, so we decided to use it. All I use is a razor knife to cut it after measuring. I have found putting down some tape and kind of cutting through all of it together works the best, just so it doesn't tear out. And everything's got to be super, super sharp. Otherwise, it's quite the pain in the butt. Tedious work. It really is. It's tedious stuff. It's hours. It looks fast. It looks simple here, but it really is time consuming. It's very time consuming. So I put my glue down, and I'm using wax paper to just kind of heat the glue up with an iron. The glue dries a little bit quicker for me, and it also helps embed it into the wood, I've noticed. Some people will agree, some people won't agree. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's the way I do it. Cleaned up the corners there with an X-Acto knife and clamped wooden pieces down to keep everything straight and square. And so that'll happen to each panel. We'll put glue down on the frame. We'll put the veneer panel in, kind of press it in, and then we'll put some wax paper over it, sort of use the iron. And then I have thin pieces of wood. We'll clamp those over top to hold it all tight for, just until it holds. About an hour or two, and everything is on there really good. And then you're ready for the next steps. So, waiting for glue is kind of a pain in the butt. There's nothing you can really do about it, though. It's like waiting for paint to dry, Yeah, you guys can see there, first panels in. Here we are, taking the clamps off, getting that other panel done, cleaning up any glue that I can right there, you know, that was still kind of not dry, using a razor knife, sort of scraping it, and putting that last panel in right now. Now, I was going to put music over this, but I figure explaining the job will work. Some people will like it, some people will hate it. It is what it is, you know. Normally we're putting up a carving video, and so this is something totally different to begin with. This build was done actually, I don't know, like a month ago, and I just haven't had time to get the video together. So had to get it together, had to get it out there. And like I said, this was probably done over the course of, I think, a few days, in all honesty. If you notice, my clothes change color. It's because it's just days. Going out different days, different times, trying to get everything done. So here I've drilled a hole through the top, trying to get some of that threaded pipe, tube, whatever. I don't know, it's for lamps. Getting that worked in through there. This is so the wires can be wired down in through the light fixture and can hold the fixture that the light bulbs go in. Now, a light like this, I only use LEDs. I always tell the customers, only use LED lights. They don't generate as much heat. They don't pull as much power. And, you know, overall, I think they're just a better option. And the light bulbs that will be used in this one are the Philips LED wireless. And they've got like a nice amber color to them. It looks really, really nice with the wood. Here you go, you guys can see. Cool thing about those wireless light bulbs, Wi-Fi light bulbs, is the customer can log in and connect them to Wi-Fi and change how bright or how dim they are. So people like that. So this is roughly what it looks like. I mean, honestly, the video doesn't show. I know it looks cool, and some of you will think it looks really beautiful, which is awesome. But in person, it's probably 10 times better. The colors just look amazing in person. So, but don't go anywhere because we are not done quite yet. We got to carve up some fish still. So hang in there for me, guys. Probably going to hit a commercial like any second. All right, so right here, these are those fish. All right, cut them out on the bandsaw, and now we're using Saburrtooth burrs to carve them on my Fordham flex shaft. The burr I'm using here is I think extra coarse burr. Those are the orange ones. We'll go through a bunch of different grits actually carving these fish up, and this orange really, really just carves really quick. I mean, this thing is aggressive. Catch your hand, and it's a world of hurt, I'll tell you that. But this is cherry burl that I showed in the beginning of the video. Basically drew up a rough fish outline and then cut out a very rough outline again on the bandsaw. This is normally how I start my fish. Rough them out with the bandsaw and then just grab these burrs from Saburrtooth and just start hogging them out. Get myself this rough shape and clean it up. Now, I do wish I had a down table or a dust collection table, but I don't. It's one of those projects I just don't have time to do. I really don't. Between work, family life, running this business, it's just I don't have time for little things like that sometimes. So it's just work, vacuum it up, and keep going. It is important though. Dust mask, I got that on all the time because this fine dust is just floating everywhere, especially when I'm carving like this. Really do enjoy these fish. The customers loved the fish. I've had other customers I've done fish for as well. They love my trout, and I really, really do enjoy carving them. They take a little bit of time. I usually end up having a few hours into each one by the time I'm done. But I think they're worth it. I think they look great, especially in this cherry barrel. There's so much character and figure in the wood. It's beautiful stuff once we get a finish on it, and we will get a finish on it before this video is over. Now, I think I am going to actually try to, if I ever get time, who the heck knows, try to carve up some of these fish extra and have them for sale maybe on my website. I know I want to bring them to some shows and things like that, you know, as more of a refined piece, not just like a chainsaw carved piece. It's always tough at shows, though, to bring like higher end pieces compared to lower end pieces. I have found, you know, people don't really buy the higher end stuff when the lower end stuff is available. It just seems to be the way it works out here in my area and where I live. Now, if I go to a show where I have high end furniture, I could bring higher end looking fish, and I'm sure they'll sell. So that'll be the plan, though. You know, maybe have some nicer, more refined carvings in the future to bring to shows and maybe do some videos like this at the bench with. We'll see what happens. It's all about time. All about time. Trying to balance time is always a battle, a struggle, if you will. So we've switched over to some green coarse burrs. I think this is a flame burr, 1/8 inch shaft, all Saburrtooth. Saburrtooth is the brand that I run. If you don't know, that's what I use. And if I can, I will have links to them down below through Amazon. You guys can purchase through my Amazon links. You can actually follow the links to Amazon and purchase whatever you want to purchase. And any purchase helps support the channel. I do get a kickback from that, and I really do appreciate those purchases that you guys make. Thank you very much. I'd also like to add that if you're a member to my channel right now, thank you, as you help support this channel directly with a monthly deal, and it's awesome. It's awesome that I even have any members. I think we're at 10 at the moment, and you guys rock. You really do. So if you are watching and you're like, man, I'd like to become a member and help support the work that Kyle does and his channel, well, you can. You guys can go down to the description below, and you can find the links, and you can find the become a member or join link there. You can go see what it's all about. We do have a few custom tutorial videos on there and some extra videos, something I got to try to get back on track with, but it's all about time, and life is crazy. So we'll see what happens. But anybody that does that, again, I really do appreciate it. You don't have to, obviously it's by choice, and I appreciate it if you do. And if not, no worries. So you guys see this little vise here I'm running with? Cool little vise I got from Harbor Freight. Screw it down to a block of wood, screw that down to the table, clamp it in, take it out, use a piece of leather so we don't gouge it up. Seems how I lost the rubber grip things. And yeah, it is a great little thing to have when carving these small pieces. Now if you guys notice I switched over to gloves, it's because when I was using that flame bit earlier, the coarse decided to drive it right into my thumb. That was fun. It was a good time to lose a big chunk of flesh. Yeah, always a good time. So right here we're using a tapered bit from Saburrtooth again. This is the Whisper bit. This is a really fine grit. These are the white bits that they offer. You know, sometimes I can't find this stuff on Amazon. You guys can always go directly to their website, and that is Saburrtooth.com. You guys go to Saburrtooth.com, check out all the burrs and sanding discs that they have available. They have a really large selection, and they really are a great company. I'm not an ambassador with them at this time, but I was last year, and it really was a great time working with them. Really great bunch to be working with. So hopefully we'll have something again in the future, but we'll see what happens. As you guys saw there, maybe not, broke off one of the fins on the fish. No big deal. A little bit of super glue, let it dry, come back, recarve, and it'll look like it never even happened. Whew, boy, lots of talking. Hope you guys like hearing my voice. Hopefully it sounds good. Some people are going to be so annoyed that I haven't shut up through this video, but just want to explain everything I can. I think I broke off another fin there too. It happens. So sanding, I will use the Dremel little flap sanders, and I will also use a mandrel sander with little cut and ripped pieces of sandpaper on it for sanding. I go back and forth between the two. I think each little sanding implement has its own place and its own job, and so you know, I use both. Kind of just refining the lines here and adding detail lines. I think this is called the eye cutter bit. It is a whisper bit. Nice fine bit. And I do believe, yes, right here, we're getting into what everybody calls an eyeball bit, but this is called a cross cutter bit from Saburrtooth, and that's what I just put that round eye in with. I'm only putting eyes in on one side of the fish because they're going to be mounted to the sides of the light shade, and you're not even going to see the other side. So, you know, you don't have to put another eyeball in there because nobody's going to actually see it. Use a little diamond bit there to kind of clean up around the eyes and the mouth. Back to a whisper bit as well for detail stuff. Love the smell of this though. Cherry barrel. Smells so good. Carving away, or if it starts to burn as you're carving, really does. Smells good. Just doing a little detail work there. You guys can kind of see the outlines of the fish. They do have some action to them. So like the body's kind of curved a little with that tail sort of flipping out. In my opinion, it just looks better than just this flat fish. I like to add a little bit of curve to them, you know, then they actually look like there's movement, there's action there. They're not just stagnant, you know. Gives it a little more character and a little more life. When customers are helping you with design and ideas, it's these little details that really can help bring a piece to another level. I know I got a lot of new carvers and artists on here. It's just things to think about. Using my little carver set there just to put my initials in the fish. And we've moved on to some teak oil. Why teak oil? Because it's what I had on hand. Honestly, normally I just use Danish oil, but we had some teak oil. Gotta let it dry quite a bit longer though. These are just light pieces. The whole light will get a coating of the teak oil. Now, for me, the purpose of coating every inch of everything with the same product, like the light here, is I want it to all move the same or not move at all. Even though the wood is cut, the wood will still absorb and release moisture, which means it can expand and contract over time, even if it's small amounts. By sealing it, the way I'm sealing it with teak oil, I think I did 2 coats all the way around, it will help and slow that process, making it very, very minimal in this case. Now, this is the bar top I had mentioned. Customer had this made by somebody else, except for that end piece. I added that. They had done the bar top for the customer. They did not like the way the finish was, and so they brought it to me. I stripped it back, resanded it, and then this is my finished product. We added some gold epoxy and some voids. There was a crack in the ends. We put a nice bow tie in there, another black walnut bow tie inlay. There's the gold, there's the bow tie, and then we put this end piece on. There's that end piece that kind of goes vertical up the wall. You'll be able to see it better in the end pictures. But yeah, this finish just a few hours, lots of hand sanding, hand applied. This is not sprayed on, and it just came out amazing. This is the space. That was the old Tiffany lamp they had up there hanging. This is the space. You can see the end piece just fitting under the light sockets, all measured out and planned to do so. Got this beautiful live edge walnut slab, just such a gorgeous piece. Created some extra live edge on it as everything wasn't rounded and stuff, but you know, is what it is. So this is where the light will be wired up through. This is a piece of cherry barrel. We hogged out the inside of it and just put a nice satin finish on it. Now the wiring goes up through, or will come in from the side and be inside that, and that just adds, you know, to the overall piece. As you guys can see here, we got the light hanging. This is going to be a pretty slow moving photo, but you check out the grain pattern in that veneer. Just such beautiful stuff. Now, I'm going to say it now because I might lose track of time going over stuff, but if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. All right, hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you do, hit the bell, hit all, and you guys will be alerted to all my future uploads. I really do appreciate the support. We're getting so close to 10,000 subscribers. Remember, and if you didn't know, when we get to 10,000, we have some items to give away, some really great items, a die grinder, a DeWalt die grinder, and some other tools and some other things. So hit subscribe. Let's get us to 10,000. We'll do that giveaway. But here is the space, all right? The camp was getting ready to be opened for the season, so that's why there's some things covered up still and games out and stuff like that. But it really is a beautiful, beautiful camp. And adding the light and redoing the bar just seriously set apart this whole space. I think it looks great. Customers very, very happy with it. Looking forward to doing some work with them in the future. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the build. Hope you enjoyed the space. Really appreciate all your support. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.